Hey, it's Raven Tactical here. Let's get Oppie glasses on. Just for something, I guess, that just so you know, we're going to do one on situational awareness for the SHTF series. I've waited a while to kind of do it because I wanted more facts to come out, and we're going to talk about the shooting that happened in California. It was a Garlic Festival. I'm assuming, much like here in Wisconsin, where a lot of the farming towns will have pretty much a festival every week, or weekend I should say, and they rotate through. Now this festival was supposedly secured. They had what I'm assuming was high fences, and they had metal detectors to get people in. I believe Milwaukee kind of does the similar thing at some of their stuff, and in an effort to deter people from bringing in weapons and whatnot. What it does, in my opinion, is it doesn't really deter much, because in Milwaukee we had problems with gangs beating people up and robbing people on the outside, waiting for people to come out to the parking lot, including the mayor of Milwaukee tried to intervene and actually got beat up pretty bad. He's a liberal mayor. He tried stopping a fight, and then he basically got his hand smashed with a lead pipe or a pipe. And again, the guy's a very big advocate on no guns, no concealed carry, no nothing. Yet he got himself, forgive my language, got his ass kicked. So let's go to the California thing at the Garlic Festival. Again, similar thing, fence. You got metal detectors kind of keeping people in. So what it did was you got a bunch of people corralled in like animals, like a slaughterhouse. You have very few exits and entrances, which makes it even worse for trying to get it out of places. Then you have the attacker who, from what I'm understanding from the news, used bolt cutters or lock cutters or wire cutters, cut a hole in the fence, walked in with an AK-47, and then started going to town. Now the weird thing is, he only killed 3 people, injured a bunch more, right? Which is good. I don't wish upon any of us to see, people get unnecessarily hurt. However, there was a guy in Vegas who supposedly, in my opinion, Vegas was more of a conspiracy thing, who shot from 500 meters and killed 40 people in a similar crowded situation. So, take that for what it is. But anyways, so this guy's walking through shooting, and the cops basically wound up getting involved. The cops got him, confronted, and eventually killed him. But not before 3 people died, including a child. So it's really sad in that sense. Now, the problem is, in your situational awareness, how can you take that, right? Obviously, if you go to this event, or this kind of event, you're going to be unarmed, which is tough. So, in my opinion, knowing that you can't be armed might deter you from going completely, because they're going to punish you for trying to bring a gun in. Secondly, if you do go, how can you prevent yourself from being a target, right? Well, you need to start looking where the exits are, potential exits, and even makeshift exits. Like, hey, this guy made himself an entrance, well, maybe you can make yourself an exit through a fence, or maybe there's a weak spot. You need to be aware of where you're at in the park and what kind of people are there. Always watch people's faces and always watch people's hands. I'm terrible with names with people, but when I'm going through a crowd or whatnot, I'm always watching people's facial expressions and I'm watching people's hands, because that'll tell you a lot about someone. Usually you can read emotions on people, and you can see where their hands are going. That is key, and also kind of paying attention to where the crowd is. So if something happens, you have to think of how the crowd is going to filter through. Does that crowd, let's use a bar example. So there's only one entrance and one exit. If you're closer to the entrance when that guy starts shooting and that guy walked through the entrance, well, everyone's going to filter through the back entrance. It's just herd mentality, right? But could you go through a window? kind of thing. Like, you kind of have to start planning ahead. Because if you plan ahead, you start getting this into a routine where you're telling your family, hey, you know what, if we have this issue, this is going to be the problem. We're going to go do this. Or two, if you're with your family, having code words that you can use to your family for emergencies, especially if you get separated because maybe you have older kids, that you can use or text and say, hey, look, Blue Falcon. I mean, it's a military term for screw up. But you could say Blue Falcon, and to your family that means get to the car. You will get to the car by any means necessary, or you're going to exit to the car. And that means go, you know. So in that concept, you know, start having plans with your family. Start looking at things. When I say situation as too, I mean look at it from an attacker's perspective. And it may sound sick and disgusting, but if you look at it from a perspective of how could I attack something, and what would my way of doing it be? What would be an easy way of doing it? Because all these places are easy, soft targets. And why? Because they know they're not armed. And the only person they're going to run into is usually a cop. And that's usually what ends it. Now, if you can carry, my view on carrying is this. You should always carry a gun no matter what. Up until the point that, let's say, at that event where the metal detector would have tripped it and anybody got into trouble. We were going to the Ark encounter, or the museum first, and I forgot to bring my pocket gun. I usually carry a pocket LCP when I'm not sure of, you know, all the rules and all the things and all that. It's easy to pocket, nobody will see it, it's not going to fall out. But instead I had my full-size Glock 20. And yeah, if I wear a baggy enough shirt, I can cover it up. Does it print? Sometimes. But does it show up when I kind of lift my shirt or lift my arm? Yeah, it tends to show a little bit. So we got there to the parking lot, and I noticed they had kind of a security officer on a bike. He was armed, and it was Kentucky. I knew the Kentucky can still carry law, but I wasn't too sure what it was if you violated it. Let's say Wisconsin, if you walk into a building where you didn't read the sign, or you saw the sign and you didn't care about it, they can ask you to leave, and that's when you just leave, and you go put your gun away, and you don't get a trespassing ticket. I didn't know Kentucky law, so I went back to the car and put it away. I figured, you know, I'm here, I drove 10 hours, we're paying hundreds of dollars to see all this, we're gonna do it. Situational awareness there was, yeah, there was exits everywhere, we weren't trapped in one place. There's a wide open space, kind of like a zoo, so that you can go wherever you need to. I wasn't too trapped there. So, just saying, when we're going through things, even as like in a prepper mindset, the more that you can get into the mindset of looking where you're at, where are the exits, where are the entrance, where are the windows, you know, where's the crowd gonna go? Because you're gonna see people panic, and when people panic, they herd mentality, right? So people trample people, and that's where a lot of people die. So even in like that Vegas shooting, people didn't want to push the metal fence over. They were still trying to go through the entrance that they came into at a music thing, instead of pushing the guardrail fence over or picking it up and moving it. They were too nervous because they were panicking. And when you panic, you're going to go into this basically where people call it blackout mode, where you are only running on instinct and fear and your flight or fight. So most of those people who are flighting, they don't have any motor skills to do anything. They don't have the ability to process a thought. It's only self-prevalence. I don't know. Or self-preservation. There we go. And that to me is what you got to be careful of. The more you plan, the more you train, the more you go through scenarios maybe in your head, or the more you play with it with your group too, is like, yeah, hey, you know, let's do these kind of training exercises. It prepares you mentally to start actually getting that fight mode into you. It gets you the fight mode where you think. So hopefully that makes sense. Comment, subscribe. Really appreciating all the other comments and everything that's been going on. Today is the Ruck March day, so 5-mile Ruck March. So everybody look forward to that. Should have more content posted today. Appreciate everything. I think we're over 110 people at this point. Thank you. Raven Tactical out.